Andor Season 2. That's right, folks. I don't typically talk about Star Wars anymore on this channel. The brand has just gotten a little too toxic and just infuriating to deal with the people that talk about this stuff online. It's kind of been like that forever, but this is Andor. Andor is different because it's unbelievable. So I wanted to talk about it. That first season is some of the most interesting and creative television I have seen in my life. I never imagined that we would get that type of a show from Disney Plus. I guess the key is to have a creator that doesn't really like Star Wars so they can just like implement real world things that are bothering them and put it into this magical science fiction reality. Look, George Lucas would have a heyday with this kind of stuff. He loves it. This is the most George Lucas-y show that any Star Wars thing has done. It's just talking about all the stuff George Lucas likes to talk about. How annoying people are when they're in the government and have control over another people. It's amazing. So that first season blew me away. It drew me to tears with how brilliant it was. And that was about 3 years ago. So we knew we were getting a second season. I think later on in like the time between seasons, we learned that it would end here and that these next span of episodes is kind of like time jump all around to get us to like where Cassian has to end up, which is fine. Could I have done like another 5 seasons where it's like each year leading up to, the Battle of Yavin? I think I could have. I'd be okay with that. But at the same time, would that oversaturate like what makes this show special? So then we start like padding it for time and it just feels more filler than killer. It's possible. I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle. Like if you gave me maybe 2 more seasons so we could get like a seasons 1, 2, and 3, I'd be okay with that too. But as it stands, the final 12 episodes of Andor have come and they were separated into chunks of 3. So you'd get 3 episodes a week, then 3, then 3, then 3. And each of those chunks was kind of like an event happening within a year. So then it would start with like 4 years before the Battle of Yavin, going to 3, going to 2, going to, right up to it. This show, I don't think it's a spoiler to say that this show ends where Cassian ends up in the movie, and that goes to where things happen in A New Hope and, timeline stuff. When you talk about Star Wars, you have to talk about timelines because people just love that shit so much. You gotta bring it up. And that's what this show does. It's still impressive, We waited a while for it, which that could hit or miss a show. But sometimes it's worth the wait. I think Severance is another show that is like this, where I'm like, oh, thank goodness you came back right when we needed you. This just felt really good. I think this is just exactly what we needed. I think post the release of Season 1 to this season, Star Wars was in a bit of a weird spot. Especially on television. Well, only on television, because they don't have a movie. So they needed something good to happen. There's just been too many things that like made them upset or they canceled projects. And it's like, this is a mess. Let's just get back to fundamentals. The Empire sucks. The rebels are important. There's stuff to explore about our modern society and surveillance and policing and all that stuff. Let's talk about that in Star Wars, which is kind of the key to this. I think that is why this show has resonated with me so much. It's just how modern it feels. It's why I think A New Hope is one of the better Star Wars movies we're going to see. Is because that is just George Lucas being like, the Viet Cong are just defending their land. Like, we are invaders here. And this is just, we shouldn't have police states. We shouldn't have fascist dictators controlling anything, monopolizing on industries, destroying this stuff. It's not good. That is what Tony Gilroy is saying here. And to do that through a lens that is just a clear cut, here are the bad guys, here are the good guys, it makes it work. But it's also not as black and white as that. It's like there is people doing stuff on both sides of these organizations that maybe have to go into areas they don't want to, whether that's for the benefit of the people or against the people. It's very compelling television. And I do think releasing it with this schedule of like 3 episodes at a time does make sense. each one of these feel like a little mini movie of like a different adventure we're going on. Here's us getting situated back into this world. Here's where we're going on this adventure and this stuff. It's really good. It is such a good show. It is easily, and I say this without hyperbole, it is easily the most impressive thing that Disney-era Star Wars has produced. And I think a lot of that has to do with Tony Gilroy not being like dead set on making the canon. He's like, these are the events we have to hit. Okay, I'll work my narrative around that. And Kathleen Kennedy letting him do that stuff. I'm sorry to say it. I think a huge part of this working is Kathleen Kennedy being like, this is the one that they're saying is special. Let's make it special. We're back with all of your favorites, you know? A couple of characters aren't really returning, kind of because we don't have much to do with their storyline now, and like, you know, we know there is kind of like an end game for a lot of these characters, so seeing where they're going to end up or how they get to these certain positions, it isn't surprising. Diego Luna, I just really want him to find another project after this. I think was he the one that's starring in like the Kiss of the Spider-Woman reboot? I really want him to land somewhere else and do something great because he just has controlled this. I think he's been the most interesting guy in Star Wars in a while. He's just like, I get this world. I'm a part of this world. I know how to play in it. I know exactly the beats I have to hit. I know the way my character has to learn stuff, the way he has to behave. No lesson can fully be realized until it comes to this crucial moment in Rogue One. So I know where I'm going, and he is so aware of that. I can't remember the last time we saw somebody embody a character like this in Star Wars in a while. It's really, really impressive to see where he's ended up. I love that. It's so unique. And I am hugely, hugely, hugely into everything that Genevieve O'Reilly is doing as Mon Mothma. She has been my favorite part of Andor. And everything she is doing this season has been incredible. It kind of opens with her at her daughter's wedding, like, this sucks, the world's burning, I need a moment to escape. To her being like, I guess I am the, like, official face of a hashtag rebellion right now, and I'm going to be actively outspoken against the Emperor. And where that leads her, and you're like, yeah, that's what happened to Mothma. She was one of the people that spoke out against this stuff. And you know what happened? She got blacklisted for it. It's really cool. The whole story is just really good at like how we use media to market things a certain way and personify things a certain way. It's brilliant. We could get into the real world parallels of like what's happened in between seasons that might change how you're writing something, who's in charge of what, who's doing what to what people. It's pretty obvious. I think there's a lot of just like hurting civilians in this that makes you go, oh, so there's the parallels to the real world. Have we learned nothing from Star Wars? You know, it's brilliant. And it's brilliant in ways that the first season was brilliant too, but they're slightly tweaked and just like a little more mature. Sometimes it's not as like fleshed out. And that's because we are, you know, time jumping, so certain storylines have an ending, but it's not like a fully resonant ending. It's just like, well, now we're doing the next thing, so that wasn't the most important thing we've seen in the world, which is fine. You know, I think at this point we're all well enough aware of what Star Wars and what Andor is and leading to that we're not upset about those kinds of things, or at least I can't be mad about them. This show has beautiful camera work. The sets are incredible. The costuming is incredible. So many distinctive choices are made. And that is one of the most crucial things about the show as well. Because we have seen some other Star Wars shows that look like they didn't know what they were doing the day they were filming. But this one is so crucial. And so many of the minute details just work so well to make this very special and look really good. It's the best looking show that Disney has produced. I will say that right now, and I will not hesitate. It is the most impressive thing that the Disney Plus era of content has produced in the 6 years it has existed. I am blown away by what this show does with its budget. I'm sure it's a big budget, but you see it and you feel it and you're not like, oh my God, this cost $200 million and it looks like ass. This looks really good and you believe that this is really good. And the stories are gripping and the character work is compelling and it's very intense and emotional, and it really hones in on just like the characters, you know? It's about the characters in this larger world. Even the side characters who show up for one sequence, they all feel like fully realized individuals as part of like a cog in like this imperial machine or whatever. It is so brilliant. Just to see Ben Mendelsohn come back as Orson Krennic, please, yes, he is so good. You have this resource, you use it, you put him in stuff. He is so talented. He's given you some great stuff. And same with Stellan Skarsgård, man. So many just amazing lines from that first season. And in here, he's like, things are getting worse. I have to go harder. And I'm like, yeah, you do. And you do. And where his character ends up is some of the most interesting stuff we have seen in the whole show. Maybe in all of Star Wars. Like, that is so fundamentally what this show's about. The radicalization of seeing the imperial system around you destroying society and how we act as human beings, and suddenly it just makes you go, everything I know and was taught and believe in was wrong. I have to find new ways to help the world for the damage I have done to it. And I'm like, yes, you do. And the young actress that is playing his assistant / daughter character, Clea, unfucking believable work, especially towards the back half. Oh my God. That is how you steal a show, being a supporting character. You're just like, okay, now it's my turn to show you why they cast me in this role. Unbelievable stuff. And I think another person like that is Kyle Soller, who does play Cyril. There is kind of like a weird arc with him, like where he starts in this show to like what happens with his character. And I think all of that stuff that we are seeing, it involves the planet Gorman, and I'm not going to spoil too much about that. That is what this show is about as well. Like the stuff with Gorman and him in particular, like learning what's happening, experiencing these things to like the episode, I'll just say episode 8, which is like a big episode for this character. I think it's the best of the season, just in terms of like, that's the budget going somewhere, and that's where like my political beliefs land very strongly with as well. But it might be the best produced thing Star Wars has made ever. I know that's such like a bold proclamation to make, but that's what it's about. That is Star Wars, you know? And in a time when like the Jedi stuff is too complicated and people aren't vibing with the Acolyte, just to have the war side of things hit so personally and resonate with you, especially in like these politically charged times we live in. Sorry that this show's political. Star Wars is political. The times we live in are tough to deal with. This show is telling you that same thing as well. These things are hard to understand and cope with, but yet we will find a way. Rebellions are built on hope, after all. Oh, there's a character that says this in the show. Gave me chills. I was like, oh, that is it. That is it. It's just people quietly rebelling and being like, you have to find a way through this. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable the things that this show is capable of. I really dig it. I think this is so freaking impressive. I am just... Andor rocks, man. Andrea Adjorni, she maybe doesn't get the most exciting work in this show, but I think what they do with this character this season of Bix is letting her feel the ramifications of the actions that are happening. There's a chance that she could have a better life because of the events of the people who are sacrificing themselves for this rebellion. That's what it's all about, you know? You fight so there's a sunset you may never get to see. It's kind of like the quote that Luthen gives in the first season. It's kind of awesome. And this show has just been an incredible journey at dealing with all that stuff. And it looks great. It stays true to Star Wars canon while literally having scenes where you're like, oh, so we're filming this like this is the CIA spying on you. Oh, we're filming this like this is the police doing this thing. Oh, we're filming this like it's the real world. If you took all of this and got rid of the Star Wars element, it's still as compelling. And that's really special. Plus, K2SO is back for a little bit. That's exciting. That's a fun character. Rogue One was a good movie. And the prequel to that is really good too. Andor's been incredible. I'm just blown away that this show has stuck the landing on every turn. That's very impressive. It's hard to do. You know, some of these other shows, they're not getting a second season. Some of them are. And boy, am I worried they're going to be bad. But I guess I'd rather you go out on top like this than slog me through 5 seasons of mediocrity. So I can't fault this show for ending here. I think it's going to make for a very interesting rewatch. These 24 episodes of television, that's what we have of Andor. You can hold them up against, I think, the best films in Star Wars and be like, this only amplifies what makes Empire Strikes Back or A New Hope or The Last Jedi so resonant. It's that impressive of a show. The prequel to the prequel is some of the best things that this whole production has ever made. And Diego Luna, I'll just say it, he is the face of this era of Star Wars. Incredible. So, Andor Season 2, I'm going to give a 9 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck. May the Force be with you.